Welcome back to the gay world of narcissism. This is a short tidbit for you, which comes from personal experience and knowledge. Just a little lesson for you kids out there. We know that if you're involved in like high school or junior high or whatever the case is, or maybe even college, that you're going to come into contact with a lot of different people. Well, chances are you may come across that one person who just has that beautiful look that reminds you of some movie star that you have a crush on and have for years, and the person may show an interest in you. Well, oftentimes what will end up happening in such circumstances is maybe you'll start talking and hanging out some, or exchange phone numbers, or chatting online with some stranger. Regardless, what you'll find a lot of times is the person who's so beautiful and so interested in you will reveal something such as, oh, well, I kind of have a boyfriend now. We're kind of arguing at the moment, but um, so on. Well, that's something that may happen, which does happen. I've seen it many times. And the lesson for you here is, if you find yourself in that circumstance, and your goal, of course, which always matters what your goal is. If your goal is to have fun, go for it. If your goal is to try to reel in some person to make something serious with, well, you might not want to move so fast. Because what many times will happen is the other person may see something in you that he likes. And you may think, oh, darn, if that person only was single, oh, I could be with them. And then you'll be overjoyed when perhaps the person says to you, my boyfriend and I have decided we're breaking up. And you'll be like, oh, wow, oh, it's my lucky day. Not necessarily is the warning here, because you, of course, your brain is full of these chemicals that are being released because you've found this beautiful specimen, and you want to chase it, and then you hear this obstacle of, it's already got somebody. So then you want it even more, because it's just human nature to want the things you cannot have. Fact. So when you hear the news that, oh, they're breaking up, oh, which normally you'd think, oh, what a sad thing, but in this case it's going to serve your purposes. So you may be tempted to think, really, you're breaking up? Oh, great. And you'll be so excited because this person will then say, I want to be with you tonight. And you'd think, oh, wow. And it's like a uplifting feeling to think, wow, this person was with someone else and must have found something so great in me that he's going to get rid of his partner for me. Oh, I'm on top of the world. Well, don't be so quick to feel on top of the world, because what you're probably dealing with is a person who regularly finds themselves involved in a relationship and doesn't have the skills or abilities to ever end it. So they just keep it going as they pursue the next target, which in this case is you. But you don't want to believe this. You want to think that that person just happened to be in the wrong relationship, and that you happen to have what they need to make the right relationship, which unfortunately is very rare. But a lot of people try to buy into such a thing. So just a warning. I know from experience too, because more than one, but the major one was, I had met a person who was living with its partner and then told me they were breaking up, but they still lived together. And then he wanted to get away from that place, so I let him in my home. Turns out that prior to this previous partner, he was with another partner and then switched from that one to this one. So then he switched from this one to me, and I said, you know what, if you and I are going to be together, it's just a matter of time then before you're going to switch to the next person, which, of course, is what happened. But when you meet such a person, I've learned it doesn't do any good to say such things because, yes, it's the way it's going to be. But they're not going to tell you that. Do you think they're going to say, oh, yes, you're right, I will eventually. I'll let you know beforehand. No, just a warning. So if you're looking for something permanent, don't expect to find it in this kind of person who's with someone but doesn't have the decency to end things before even allowing anything new to happen, because they're going to do the same thing to you. It's basically telling you who they are. They are a person who clearly values their own desires over anybody else's, which means that's what you'll be in for if you do become so ecstatic it dumped its ex for you. Well, first, it'll be great, but eventually, because you think of it with the ex, that it didn't really like it when it met it? No, at the beginning it was probably the same way it is with you. Probably making statements, oh, your eyes are so beautiful. I just love to spend time with, like, the lines were probably used on the other one. So this person clearly will not be happy with anything for too long, but you can't expect to say your speculation because it'll be shot down. Because they're not going to ruin their possibilities, because if they told you the truth, you'd be like, you know what, I don't think this is a good idea, I'm out of here. And they don't want that. They want it all. So keep that in mind, and don't be so excited if you feel you've broken up some other couple for you, because the reason I say this is because chances are, if this is happening right now with you, something very similar probably already happened previously with a prior partner, and you can't expect to be able to ask and get a real answer because the very fact that you ask indicates you're on to the fact it could be a pattern, so more than likely you'll be told, oh no, and the implication of this is also tempting to believe, which you can tell yourself, well, it's very possible somebody could get involved with someone who's just not right for them, and I can't help that I came along and I am. Well, again, that's not necessarily accurate or valid, but it's tempting to think. So the point of this is just be careful and don't put too much stock in it if the person left, because like my situation, I'd be like saying, but wait a second, you're leaving that one for me, and won't you leave me? They'll be like, oh no, you're special, oh, you're different, and that's what they want to imply, is that normally they would never do such a thing, but because of how special you are, and don't buy it, and from my experience, don't challenge it, because they're not going to say, oh, you figured that out? Oh, you're right. No. So, but be careful and good luck.
I must confess, I tried to kiss Johnny Jeff the other night. He slapped me in the face and called me a goddamn tranny. I didn't know what to say.
I'm here to assure you that human cloning is very safe and very practical. There's no need anymore to worry about such petty things as malfunction, because those just don't happen anymore. And I'm living proof. So, I would suggest that
don't worry about her. She malfunctioned. I'm her replacement. I'm on fire!